All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Turning Stratusphere UX Data into Action with APIs and AI. I'm Andrew with Liquidware, and we're very glad to have you all here. Today, you'll learn how to pull targeted metrics with the API Builder, integrate DEX data into tools like ServiceNow and Power BI, and use AI insights to turn data into actionable decisions. Joining us are James O'Regan and Chris Walker from Liquidware team. Some quick housekeeping. This session is being recorded, and we'll share the recording and additional resources in our follow-up. So feel free to drop questions in the chat or the Q&A at any time during the presentation, and we'll be sure to address that whether in chat or on video. With that, I'll pass it over to James to get us started.
Thanks very much, Andrew. And thanks everyone for coming along. We're really excited. Obviously, as you've seen any of our posts on social media in the last couple of weeks, this is going to be the first live demo of our new AI plugin. But we're not going to start with that. We're going to look at how you can get more out of your data through APIs and through Power BI first. So just to kind of set the scene, as Andrew said, my name is James O'Regan. I'm a lead product marketer at Liquidware, and I'm joined by our SME for Stratusphere UX, Chris Walker. How you doing, Chris?
Very well. I've really got to get a different picture put up there. Yeah. Maybe I'll shave next time for that.
Fair enough. All
Yep.
right. So, just to get us going, I wanted to do a brief overview of what Liquidware do essentially. So, it all kind of focuses on our digital workspace solution suite. So, we've got FlexApp. FlexApp provides kind of seamless application delivery with dynamically attached applications. So, that's just, how you deliver your applications to the desktop. And then tying in with that and all about kind of, what we're trying to do is decouple those applications from your images. So stop that whole thing around image sprawl, which we see time and time again with customers. So that's what we're really about with FlexApp. And then kind of profile Unity, all about our user and application management. So how your apps and desktops are delivered, the policies in place, all the different controls. And within kind of Profile Unity, you've the ability to put in controls around those applications and how they're delivered, when they're delivered, all of that kind of stuff. So that's that's one side of what we do. And then what we're going to focus on today is kind of Stratusphere. So Stratusphere, it monitors and optimizes DEX, and our data is the real power of Stratusphere, and that's what we're going to show today. So basically, what you can do with our data is support the complete life cycle of digital workspace. And then our fourth and newest solution is command control. This is a SaaS solution and it's focused on real-time remediation. So it's very much designed for hybrid workspaces where you can basically, reach out and touch a machine and apply remediations to it from anywhere. And the beauty of it is the admin can be anywhere as well because it's a SaaS product. So we'll be talking more about command control in the future, but today we're very much focused on Stratusphere UX. So just to kind of go on from there, Stratusphere UX, as we said, has comprehensive end-to-end metrics, whether that be machine inventory, machine performance, application inventory, user inventory, work from anywhere, machine health, security, application performance. These are all the kind of key areas which Stratusphere looks at, and it gives you all of that data. And then what we're doing today is essentially showing how you can get more out of that data by having the ability to, either output it to another piece of software via our API or put it into reporting and graphs or Power BI. And then what Chris is going to show later on, which is, what we're all very excited to show, is our AI plugin, which is, you've got the data in Stratusphere and you want a quick insight into what that data is telling you. Well, the plugin does that, and Chris is going to walk us through that. So, just to start us off, we're going to start with the API demo. So, Chris, it's over to you.
All right. Let me share here and share. All right, can you see my screen here?
Can indeed.
Okay, perfect. So anybody who's worked with our API has seen what we call the API builder. This allows me to select my columns that I'm interested in, add individual filters, what type of output do I need, and then basically creating a JSON type uh, list that you can plug into other programs. I've worked with customers to plug this into Power BI, Tableau, Splunk, ServiceNow, even Excel spreadsheets, PowerShell commands, where they needed to download different types of data from Stratusphere on a regular basis and then move it into another platform for other purposes. Things like security posture. Are my applications up to date? My security up to date? Did somebody turn off the firewall? Is the drive encrypted? Things like that. So there's a lot of different use cases that people can use our Stratusphere API data for, and they're pulling it from the API. Very good interface, allowing me to really get to all of the individual metrics in Stratusphere without having to navigate around and do a manual export or run a report. So this is currently available in Stratusphere 6.7.0, the current shipping product, but will be decremented in our 6.7.1 because in current 6.7.0, under the detailed view, you can actually today go in and export the existing JSON. So as you build out a report or a view inside the detailed view, maybe save it for later or things like that, you can actually grab this JSON that you built in the views by adding users, columns, things like that, and grab that and drop it into those other platforms. So we're extending that capability so that it's more under one panel. So we didn't have to rewrite the entire API builder in a new language. And this is a more modern language, faster, better caching, and things like that. As a part of this also, you can import JSON. So if I saved a report that I like, I can actually import it, just paste it right here, and then run it. And that would allow me to see the data on my site immediately. So the API builder, if you've been using it for years, it is now going to be decremented and we'll be using the detailed view as well to get data in and out of the Stratusphere. Same simple interface, but it's much more powerful, new language again, and faster. With more features, I can hide and remove columns on the fly, which the old API builder could not do. So this is much better from a visualization standpoint and supportability standpoint as well. In the API, like I said, I have used it, because, Stratusphere, there's a lot of data in here. And customers want to get that data into the other platforms that their executives or their business leaders may already be in. So I want to get that into Power BI, Tableau, Splunk, or ServiceNow, where my executives are already in without having them come and log into the Stratusphere interface. Now, so I mentioned there Power BI. Let's flip over to Power BI. So we have created hundreds of templates in Power BI with our data for our customers. Here's one that we've just built and we're rolling out to a lot of customers called our UX Blueprint. This is a mini health check of bottlenecks and assessment inside of your environment, multi-page, as you can see down here on the bottom. It's multiple pages, but it does allow you to see what's going on in my environment. Am I having a compute issue or a storage problem in my environment? What are my different platforms and groups that I can build inside of Stratusphere to look across my infrastructure? I'm only responsible for the Atlanta branch, so I'd want to drill down and just look at that, and only the people on VMware. So making a live interactive view of Stratusphere data, but definitely more presentable because now the executives are in a normal web interface and Power BI has thousands of widgets and can do business intelligence, plug into Active Directory and other platforms so I can combine all of that data together. Other examples, here's a cluster utilization that we built for a customer. He wanted to understand his utilizations of his cluster, how many users, how many machines, is it a CPU or RAM issue on a particular cluster that may need to rebalance? Amazon Workspace usage audit. Are the users on the right size and tier of machines? We've also done this on Azure as well by resizing customers' environments. And basically, we let Stratusphere run 30 days, collect the data, extract the data out of the API, feed it into a Power BI template, and within a few minutes, we can tell you, are you on the right tier of machine for your users? Do I need to change my billing options to monthly or hourly for the sizing of my systems? we've saved customers a lot of money by extracting that data out of the API, plugging it into Power BI, and helping them to audit their system. And this is not something that you do just one time, right? As you gather new applications, more people, they're doing different things. So typically you want to run these audits in Amazon and Azure at least twice a year to resize the environment and keep ahead of any particular issues that might pop up. Another one, this one's a little dated, but in a kind of an executive dashboard, what's going on with my environment, my user experience, and then lastly, performance dashboard. So how are my workstations? What are my login times, my host memory, like in a VMware environment or Citrix Horizon environment, my application count as far as launch time, and just figuring out what's going on in my infrastructure. So we use our API for a lot of our customers, and it's amazing that some of my competitors actually don't have a rich API that can be used in their environment. So take advantage of the API because it does allow you to bring that data into other things and service other business issues. So right sizing of an environment, application usage, how many people are running an old version of Google Chrome in your infrastructure? So yes, definitely use the API. It is very powerful, and we're seeing a lot of customers take advantage of it to move it into other platforms. And James, I'll
Chris,
stop. Yes, sir.
Chris, on the APIs there, you were talking about how we've seen a lot of customers, looking at it from a perspective of sizing and all of that kind of thing. Um, you know, the one we've talked about quite a bit is application reclamation. It's been a huge thing. We've really seen savings, and obviously we've presented that via Power BI. And that's one of the things we keep seeing more and more of is around the kind of how how many applications that are not being used in an environment.
Yep. Yeah, so mainly in healthcare is where I find it the biggest one. So application reclamation, I've had several CTOs and CIOs of healthcare organizations, pretty good size, 10, 20, 30,000 people in these healthcare organizations. And the CTO and CIO said, I had this doctor and he had a team of people. He came in, he stayed for about 5, maybe 10 years, and we bought him special applications and then he left. Well, those applications are still being maintained by the IT department and still being published in Citrix or Azure or wherever, but they don't know if it's being used. And a lot of the products out there, even the Microsoft SCCMs, the Intunes, can't tell you if an application is actually in use and is it in the foreground as well. So how is it being used? Because like Snagit. Snagit runs on my workstation all the time, but it's only in the foreground a few times a day while I take a picture of something and edit a document. So we can actually tell, is it being executed and is it actually in the foreground being used? Using those two technologies, we can then determine which applications need to be on which machines. Java is another big one. I deployed 1,000 copies of Java. I'm only licensed for 800. I need to remove it off the machines that aren't being used. So application reclamation, we've recovered millions of dollars already for some of our customers just around that as well. So good question. Yeah, reach out if you have questions about that to your local territory manager, and they can provide a demo for you.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, so we're going to get into the the AI plugin, but I just wanted to kind of give a bit of context before Chris gets into his demo. So just to start, so what we've gone with a read-only approach when it comes to AI, and the data is there to back it up. That if we look at it, 52% of leaders cite security, privacy, and compliance as the top barrier to deploying AI agents. Actually, I found a stat yesterday that's even higher than that. It was a stat from Gartner, and it said that 84% of IT leaders cite security, privacy, and compliance as the top barrier to deploying AI agents. So that's actually gone up. So, what we're seeing is that lots of kind of IT leaders and organizations are looking at AI agents, but there has to be a lot of decisions and compliance, guardrails, all these kind of things put in place before they are implemented. And what we're trying to do with our approach is kind of we're focusing on the intelligence that is within the data you already have. And we want to kind of establish that baseline before we move any further with our kind of AI journey. And so we're not saying that we're not going to introduce AI agents. That will probably come at some stage, but we're kind of saying we want to walk before we run, and that they have to lay the foundations in place before we kind of move forward. So these are just some stats I found that kind of shows that the confidence in AI agents, and in particular autonomous AI agents, is not there at the moment, and that we feel that our approach is the right approach for where our customers and partners are at this moment in time. So, as I said, what we have is our plugin. It's read only, so it's an analysis first, and it works on the data within Stratusphere. It is not autonomous. There's no actions taken. It analyzes, it puts it all together, and it makes recommendations. And then the user decides what to do with that information. So it's just giving quick insights into all of the data that's currently in Stratusphere, and then you're allowing the end user to make a decision and determine the course of action for the outcome. So we're not parsing that off to an AI to do those. We're leaving it with the admins to determine what the course of action should be. So here's just a couple of things of note about our plugin. It is independent from the core Stratusphere UX release. In terms of compatibility, it's 6.70 or higher. At launch, which is coming very soon, it will be supported in Chrome and Edge. So how will you get it? You will get it via the standard browser stores of those. It will have support for ChatGPT and then Azure OpenAI. Data sources. So it will use advanced inspectors, diagnostic detail views, and diagnostic individual views. You are required to utilize your own API key to enable it, so it can talk to the whatever AI you choose. So very much read-only approach, analyzes data, gives you the insights, makes recommendations. You determine what the course of action is. So we feel this is the best approach for our customers at this moment in time. So as again, just to iterate explanations, I've told you what it gathers from. It supports feedback of what it's uploaded. It supports a chat history. You can actually upload your UX reports as well to it, and then you can get recommendations on the reports as well. And that's just a quick overview. And we're now going to hand over to Chris. And Chris is going to show us a live demo. And this is the first ever public demo of our AI plugin. So it is over to Chris.
So you're saying basically, James, no pressure, right?
Oh, absolutely no.
Yep. Yep. So one of the things that, as we're looking and we looked at the AI models and what people were doing with them out there, it was very concerning to us and a lot of our customers that, hey, I don't want that thing to take action. And more importantly, I don't want my data uploaded into a public environment where they could potentially see my usernames, my IP addresses, my server names, things like that, domain controllers. So we took that approach of basically what we have here is we built a plugin into the browser. Notice on the top right-hand corner, this little blue icon, and it only comes active when you're on a supported screen of Stratusphere. So it has to recognize that you're on a Stratusphere system and you're on a supported screen, and then that blue icon will be gray if you're not, and then blue if you are. So what I'm going to do here first is actually go into let me move this out of the way. There we go. The configuration section. It will not let me click it. No, that's why. All right, so as James talked about, it is supporting multiple interfaces or AIs, OpenAI, ChatGTP, Azure Commercial, and Azure GovCloud as well. The data is then you put in your API key, select the model that you're interested in, or Azure, Azure Gov. So you pick your system, your API key, and this will allow you to then upload data into the particular AI system that you've selected. Like I talked about, the data is what's called tokenized, which means any data that it downloads from Stratusphere that it recognizes as PII or PMI information, such as a username, an IP address, a server name, a domain name, will be tokenized before sent to the AI. And then when the AI data comes back, it is untokenized, so it's only rendered on your machine. Okay, no confidential information is uploaded to the AI that you have selected. So very good security of your data. Down further, you can also do what we call change the prompt. So when you're dealing with an AI system, if you provide it what's called a prompt, and what information should it use when I'm analyzing data. So on the detail view, I may tell it, hey, these are Mac machines and Mac OS. We're running these type applications. This is a business unit that does this type stuff. So give it more information in the prompt, and it can be more accurate about its response. So I'm looking for a business response to my questions. So you got individual prompts that you can add for each one of these systems. A note on the reports: if you upload a PDF into the system, it cannot be tokenized because I can't regenerate a PDF. So reports, Excel spreadsheets, things like that, I believe those can. So I'm going to cancel out of this. So what happened when I came into this particular view, the AI lit up, and then it uploaded today.csv. So basically in the background, it went and got this data and uploaded it to the AI Insights plugin. Okay, it has not been actually delivered to the AI yet. Then I ask a question, it will tokenize the data and then give me a response. You can also add additional files inside the system just by clicking right there. So you can add in other data. And what a lot of people are doing is they are going to our spot check methodology. And let me accept all cookies. They are going to our spot check methodology, which I also write. And this has the specifications. So you're giving the AI, what should my CPU memory disk and network be in this PDF, so that it can answer the data more effectively for you. So yes, feel free to upload other data to the system as well. And then you can have multiple chats. So I ask it a question, who is the top CPU user? It's real simple. It's now uploading that data, and it comes back and basically tells me. That's a really simple question, right? So now if I was on an application inspector or on the advanced tab inspector, I could ask it more about applications, but I'm looking at users, CPU, memory, disk, and network. All right, so it's very critical that as you change the data, you'll want to push the new button and get the new data so it can upload information about how you've changed it. It only, when I press that button here to join this, it downloaded and grabbed the data that was on the screen at that time. So I may want to, from the advanced inspector or detail inspector, upload multiple files so the AI has more to work with, and then I get a better detailed answer inside the system. But this is a full AI. Anything you can type, who's the top users, who's the top memory consumers. I flip to process level. I drill into Barry Haven here and drill down to a deeper level. I can ask him, what was Barry's login experience like over the past 7 days, and is it getting longer? And then I can export that data out of the system. So a very simple plugin into the browser. All the data is tokenized, protecting you from issues of uploading information. But you will probably want to work with your corporate security to find out what API or what AI system they support. And then they will also give you an API key, because the more data you use or the more information that you send up to the AI, it does cost money. So you want to be careful about how much data that you actually transfer to the users. James, did I forget anything?
No, I think
Yeah.
that's a good overview of what we're trying to achieve is, and I think you've brought up a couple of important points there, Chris, is we are tokenizing the data because we don't want, all that PPI data exposed to the AI. So we've deliberately done that, and that it is firmly at the stage where you look at the data you have, you get a quick analysis. If you saw how quickly it came back with the CPU usage, you can delve in deeper. Um, Maybe can we delve in deeper and look at see further what we're dealing with?
Yep, yep. So one quick thing I forgot to mention was how do you get this? Okay, so this will be actually available in the Google Chrome store and the Edge store as well. So it'll be a plugin that you
Yeah.
can download, and the plugin should auto update if you have auto update for Chrome or things like that. When it does become available later this month, you will be able to just download it, and it's only active against a Stratusphere platform and only the data that you're looking at. So yeah, it is very secure, and the plugin I think is scheduled to be released at the end of this month. So
That is that's
other
correct.
questions you can ask is, memory information. Without drilling down, there's not a lot that you can see here. So maybe who's the top login information. So I'd really want to drill down on an individual user and get more detailed at a detailed level. So what is Barry having a problem with? So yeah, you really want to drill down before you start asking more detailed level data. I would imagine, I'm on a system with 20,000 users, and I need to know who my top CPU users. Then I would go over to my advanced inspector and upload the process level data and ask it a different level question about what's going on in the environment. So in order to give more detail, you really have to drill down to deeper levels. So I can't ask at this level what applications are causing the high memory utilization. That makes sense because there is no memory information on here. I'd have to drill down to that next level to get more data about what's eating up the memory on Barry's machine.
Hmm.
That make sense?
Because you can only interpret what data you have on
Yep,
screen. That's the
yep,
whole point at this stage of the plugin is to
yep.
interpret the data that's
Now,
currently.
if I had already downloaded that data from, say, from the advanced inspector or the detail
Yeah.
inspector, I could then upload it into this same chat and
Mm,
say, show me all the people with higher than 80% utilization that are running Adobe Acrobat, XYZ. So because I've given the AI more data. But yes, when you go into it the first time, it is only looking at the data on the screen.
yeah.
Yep. We're very
Okay.
interested for feedback from our customers about this as well. This is version 1.0. As James mentioned, it's out of band of development of Stratusphere. So we hope to be able to release this at least twice a year with new updates, but it will run against Stratusphere 6.7.0, 6.7.1 that's coming out, because literally this is a browser plugin, and we didn't have to make any updates to our Stratusphere code as well. So out of band support and much faster updates for us as well.
Yeah, and that was very important in when we put this together.
Yep.
It was very much we were focused on the fact that we wanted it to be out of band, that it is a separate solution from Stratosphere. Yes, it plugs into Stratosphere, but its development is separate to Stratosphere, and that was
Mhm.
we wanted that clear kind of delineation between the two. So
Yep. And we got some good
that's
roadmap things for this coming down the road. So keep your eye on it because it is going to get a lot of attention, a lot of really cool. And I think, James, we have another product that also has AI insights built into it as well, but you'll be talking about that next month, right?
yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Put you on the
Yep.
spot there.
Yeah, we'll be bringing more and more insights. Yes. I'm not, we won't say anything more at the moment, but yeah, there will be lots more information coming about one of our other solutions. So it looks like we have some questions. So just let me bring back up the PowerPoint slide. All right. Uh, so, okay. So just before we get into some Q&A, we just want to mention a couple of things. Obviously, Chris mentioned some of the savings we can make with Stratosphere, So one of the ways you can test this for yourself is our value calculator. It's available on our website, or you can scan the QR code there and get access to it. You can put in your own figures and you can see how much improvement can occur in your environment, or how much optimization you can do with your infrastructure. So worth checking out. As I said, we're seeing more and more companies, they're looking closer at their kind of sizing when it comes to AVD, Windows 365, and all other kind of VDI platforms. So worth a look at that as well. The other thing to bear in mind is our Sparks program. So Sparks are very much focused on kind of ideas our SEs have internally about ways they can expand what liquidware solutions do, but they're kind of separate from our developments. So they're little kind of tools and utilities that kind of enhance liquidware solutions. So well worth looking out. Chris has done several already and is working on more as far as I know.
Mhm.
So there's lots to come from Sparks, and they're kind of really cool little utilities that can help, enhance your liquidware solutions.
It's also a testing board for our future releases. So, like
Yeah.
my power tools, development will eventually take that over and move it into the product. Several of Jack Smith's things have already been looked at by AI or by our internal dev teams. So it's a testing spot for things for our customers and our SEs that eventually will end up in the product. It's kind of a prototyping area. Yep.
Yeah, they're very much prototyping and small utilities that really kind of enhance what we do. So,
Mhm.
and as I said, some of them eventually will make it into our products, and it is kind of a testing ground for these things. And as I said, they're developed by our SEs internally, and then shared with our community. So, I think they're very useful. So, Chris, looks like we have some questions.
Yep.
So, let's go back. What do we got first? Let's have a look here. Okay, we've got one question here. Within Stratusphere, is it possible to differentiate between Flex app and locally installed applications?
Yes. So two things. A couple years ago, we started when the Flex app mounts in add remove programs, it actually comes up and says the application name, then right next to it, Flex app. So Stratusphere can see that as well. I believe we also built in reports into Stratusphere as well to help you identify applications that are Flex app compatible, to help you determine which list of applications I want to move into a Flex app. The Flex apps are very powerful for those of you that are not aware. It's our application delivery technology, where I take an application, I package it one time, then I can deliver it to Azure, Citrix, or your laptop at your house. And the question is, can Stratusphere determine the difference between, is Chrome locally installed, or is it a Flex app module as well? But in add remove programs through Stratusphere, you'll see Chrome and then a bracket Flex app right after the name. Yep.
Excellent. So we have a couple more questions. So, does Stratusphere collect and share data with SIM source solutions like Sentinel, Splunk? I think you mentioned that we can export data to Splunk.
Yeah, there's no native, connection, but I have used our API to talk to pretty much everything under the sun. So even Excel spreadsheets. So using our API, people can pull out any data they want into Sentinel or any application, graph it, put a pie chart around it, run alarms against it. But yeah, we don't push data to anybody because that would be bad. But you have the ability to pull it through our secure API, or even talking directly to our database if necessary as well.
Yeah. Okay. Um, right. Okay. Well, this question here is any plans to automatically surface the information via making API calls on its own? Well, we we're not going to potentially we're looking at various different things on our roadmap, and as we've said, this is a V1 of the plugin, so it's very early days in terms of what the plugin can deliver. So we will iterate it and make changes. So I I can't answer that at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
we do have roadmap plans that hopefully will be more secure on premise, and you'll be able to query against multiple pods, unlike the web plugin. But we do have very powerful plans for the future for AI to help customers out. How many users are having a problem with this application, this version, and then go give me an answer. And it will be able to talk to the full Stratusphere system, but that is a roadmap that is a kind of a skunk work project right now. So keep your fingers crossed.
yeah, yeah. As we said, the whole point behind this is that it's out of band from the Stratosphere release. So we're hoping that there will be another release of the plugin later in the year, and we'll obviously make some changes based on feedback from our customers on what's working and what needs changing. So there are definitely. I can't answer that specific question at this moment in time because one, the product hasn't even launched.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm not sharing the NDA roadmap items on a public platform. So watch this space is all I can say for the moment.
Hey,
And
somebody just asked me, or sent a direct message to me, how do they get those Power BI templates? The best way is reach out to your local field SE or your local TAM for your territory and set up a time with our Power BI guy to kind of show you all the different templates that he's built. And then literally we just give them to you. You install Power BI on your system, you download the template, you point it at your Stratosphere system, you hit go, and you're off and running. It's very, very easy to implement, and we do a lot of work with our Stratosphere customers around Power BI or Splunk and things like that, mainly around Power BI. So yeah, reach out to your TAM or send an email to sales@liquidware.com if you're not sure who that is, and someone will get back to you. Yep.
yeah, okay. So lots of really great questions there. And one of the ways, if you want to keep the conversation going after this webinar, is to join the Liquidware community, which is hosted on Slack. You have access to everyone in Liquidware, including Chris, and Chris answers questions frequently on there as our SME for Stratusphere. But we also have our SMEs for FlexApp, ProU. You have our CTO, our CEO are both on there answering questions. So really, if you want, full access to the Liquidware team, this is where you go to get it, is to the community. Just seeing, is there any more questions? I thought I saw another one there. No, it's just Ray sharing the links. So yeah. Any other questions? Oh God, it's jumping around a bit for me. Um, yeah, we're very excited about where this is kind of going, and as I said, we took a very deliberate stance with what we wanted to do with AI in the first instance, and it was all around insights and recommendations. And but one thing I kind of want to make clear is we're not anti-AI agents. We just feel that there's a kind of a foundation, there's a step-by-step approach to this, and this is very much the feedback we've received from our customers, that this is the approach they want from us. So we will kind of progress that, and we have a whole internal roadmap in terms of what we're going to do with AI in the future. But this is kind of the first step to kind of quickly gain those insights and recommendations into what the data you already have. And that was the whole purpose of today's webinar, is to kind of how you surface that data from UX, because we all know that UX has, the most detailed data available. And Chris has, shown three different ways that you can now surface that data. Any other questions? Chris, any other insights you want to share?
Yep, I'm good. I see some questions in the Q&A. How do you protect the tokens and to prevent a main inline middle attack capture the token? Seeing where's access. So the tokens are destroyed after use. They're stored in your persona data under your local machine. And then as soon as the question is answered, the token data is destroyed at that point, but it's only used by the AI insights stored under your personal app data as well. and the token data is destroyed after use. Hope that helps a little bit. But I will actually go and verify that answer or that question more detailed with my developers as well, because that's a very good question. Then the
No,
other Q&As kind of went away.
it is a good question, and it's kind of an area that, token poisoning is a thing that, we want to avoid. So obviously we've put measures in place. Chris has given a brief outline. We can definitely get a more detailed response from our developers and our security team.
Yep. Now, Sean asked about AI, the data that you explicitly share. Yes, the AI is, this particular version is only the data that you put on the screen or that you've uploaded. It is not going to get in any other data that you have. And it's a brand new chat each time. So it's basically a brand new, hey, how you doing? Here's my data. It has no knowledge of the previous chats. So each time you press that button, it will upload the latest data from Stratusphere on the screen that you're looking at, and then you can upload what you're after as well. But it does not have access to any other data in Stratusphere unless you tell it explicitly to upload that data. All right, I think that was
Excellent.
it.
Any other questions before we wrap up? Oh, we got one more.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone for attending. We really
Have a great
appreciate it.
day.
As I said, if you've got any follow-up questions, join community and drop those questions on community and we will get you the answers.
Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Have a good day.